Cool, man. All right. What's going on, you guys? Blaise here at the Blue Chip Athletic Club podcast. I'm stoked to welcome Cavan over here to the show. A couple things. One, talk about a mutual friend connection with Caleb that I kind of ran into out of the blue going over there. He just gave me like raving reviews about you when I met him. He's like, "Oh, dude, you got to meet my buddy. Come out to this CrossFit gym and come do a workout with us," and start talking to him. And obviously, I've been up there a handful of times and seen you there, but you can only do so much talking when you're dying at a CrossFit workout. I was like, hey, maybe I'll reach out to this guy and start chatting with him. Started following your socials and seeing the stuff that you're doing. I'm like, this is awesome. So I'm happy to have you on. And today I'm not going to read through any podcast partners. It'll all be in the show notes. You guys can check that stuff out. But without further ado, dude, welcome. Thank you for coming. Tell me a little bit about you, because, full disclosure, I don't know a ton about you, which is super cool to kind of be able to start from zero and see origin story and kind of what you're about, where you're from.
Yeah, I'm happy to dive into it and go as far back as you want or we need. We got nothing but time. And
hit it, dude.
First and foremost, Caleb, raved about you as well. He said, "You got me, Blaise. You got to get you guys together. You guys are going to hit it off." And that's just the power of Caleb. And you guys did podcasts as well. But when you surround yourself with people like with his energy, and it's addictive, right? And it spreads like wildfire. And I'm glad we finally were able to connect, because I was traveling and, I just walked through your house and you're redoing everything. Thank you for making the time and bringing me in.
For sure.
Where do I start? I grew up in New York. I was born in New York City, grew up on Long Island. I'm the oldest of four. My siblings and I were all 2 years apart.
Yeah. Cool.
Working mom and dad, very, very middle class family. We were super active in the community, sports, Boy Scouts. My sister was in Girl Scouts. My mom worked at the YMCA. My dad worked in the city. He worked overnight shifts. So while he worked overnight, he came back to nap, and then he was at every single activity that we ever had growing up. So really good childhood. And then I'm the oldest. So when we flash forward, I lost my way a little bit. I graduated high school, going into college, kind of hung out with the wrong people, that didn't go to class. Started playing in my rock band at the time.
What did you play?
Well, at that time I was playing bass guitar, and then started another project where I played piano and guitar and just did everything. But it was way more fun to go play rock shows than to go to class. So, with that came a little bit of drinking and extracurricular drugs and not passing classes and almost failing out of school.
Where'd you go to school?
So I went to the Aaron Copeland School of Music. So I was very much so into music. I wanted to be a music educator.
Where is that? I'm not
so. It's in Flushing, Queens.
Oh, okay.
So I was just outside of Manhattan. So I was living on Long Island at the time. Didn't go dorm there, so I was commuting back and forth. They don't teach you to drive in rush hour traffic in New York, like upon graduating high school, and how to deal with that. Lots of lessons right away. But I think going there and going through a difficult time, or what became a difficult time, with not wanting to be in school and trying to figure out my way, was super important to me, because let's flash forward from the year I graduated high school to a year and a half later, when I was failing at this conservatory music school. I didn't really know what I wanted. I just didn't go to class. It wasn't that I was failing class. I didn't go. I would rather work and get cash at the restaurant to go buy some beers and hang out with the boys, and then go to band practice, and then sleep in the next day.
Dude, you're a classic 20-year-old kid.
Yeah. But I ended up putting on a lot of weight. This is 2005 I graduated high school. 2006, 2007 I kind of just started falling down this path. And by 2008 I was 300 pounds.
Well, you're not a small dude, to be fair. You're a pretty tall guy already, big dude, so probably, can hold the weight. But yeah, that's surprising to me for sure.
So, long story short, I transferred to community college, and was like, this is going to be fine. Everything's going to change. Nothing changed. I just did more of the same for a semester. But my dad was taking my sister to tour this school that was local. about 45 minutes north of us, the tip top of New York City in the Bronx, called the College of Mount St. Vincent. And my sister had already committed to go to Loyola, but my dad said, you said you were going to go on this tour, so we're going to go on this tour, and you never know what's going to happen. So we'll see what happens. And I'm really thankful that they did go on this tour because they ran into the men's lacrosse coach at the time. And he, lacrosse coach, Mully, asked my dad if he knew any guys that played lacrosse because he was trying to rebuild the team. And my dad, being the man that he was, so I'll get to that in a second, said, well, my sons play lacrosse. Mind you, like, I had not played in 2 years and I was 300 pounds. But we were really good when we did play in high school. So we went to this meeting with the lacrosse coach and the assistant lacrosse coach, and they wanted my brother, but he was about to go study abroad in Australia, and they looked at me, and what I heard was, you're too fat and you're too dumb, because I was very heavy and my grades were bad.
So, yeah, the recent ones especially, right?
So I said, look, you just watch, and I'm going to go figure this out. And at that time, it was really all I needed. I needed someone to tell me no to something that I actually wanted to do. So I like lacrosse. I was like, I can do this. I can play lacrosse. I knew at the time I wasn't in the best shape and my grades were bad, so I didn't have the best expectations. But this set a path for me to actually work towards something for the first time in a long time. So I went back to community college and I got all A's that next semester, and I lost 40 pounds that next semester. And I walked into a Starbucks to meet the assistant coach and someone on the team at the end of that semester because I said, hey, I'm ready. I can do it. I can apply. I can make this happen. And they didn't recognize who I was. That felt really good.
Yeah.
So I went and played at this school, became captain the next year, captain the team for 2 more years, graduated with honors. And then I was like, I don't know what to do now. Like, all of my structure and rigidity in my life got me to this point of health, and dropping even more weight and getting my grades back up was gone. But
were you still studying music too?
No, I went into, I was like, what's the easiest thing?
What was that?
Communications.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went into interpersonal communications, and I had a degree in script writing, believe it or not.
Oh, interesting.
So direction, film, and script writing.
Wow, yeah.
I'm not using.
Yeah, well, I don't know,
the communication side of it.
Closet art, man. Closet art for sure. Yeah, cool.
So graduated, and typical parental raising of the time, go to school, get a job.
Yeah.
And I went with my brothers to the mall one day, and they walked in. My brother, who I told you was a Navy SEAL, was also a model. So he's a handsome dude and a badass all at the same time.
Shout out to brother.
Yeah, he was my best friend. I was pick on him. Child in this family. You got the looks and everything. He was going to do a modeling gig with Abercrombie Fitch at the time for the holidays. So I walked into the store and I looked at the guy who I thought was the manager. I was like, hey, are you hiring by any chance? Like, I just graduated college. I need a job. So you got a degree? I was like, yeah, I have a degree. He was like, cool. Come to this, fill this out and come to this interview, next week. So then I interviewed and I became the manager of Abercrombie and Fitch. And then from there, I was one of the tougher jobs that I ever worked, because there was it was the number one volume store in the country. It wasn't a flagship store, and they had eyes on all the time. It taught me a lot about management and managing people and scheduling and working different, in different environments, controlling chaos, planning ahead, proactive versus reactive, and systems and all of that. So that helped me later on when I started my own business and I had to worry about all those things. However, I got a job. So I did that for a bit, and then eventually I bounced around a retail career and worked for different companies, Joe Fresh, Ted Baker, and then eventually Ralph Lauren. I managed their flagship store on Fifth Avenue until one day I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't love selling people t-shirts. Like, I like style and fashion, but I was like, at the end of the day, it's not filling my cup as much as I want it to. Just so happened at the same time that I paid for a Groupon to drop into a CrossFit gym, because CrossFit gyms in New York City are like $300+ a month. So I found one for $50 and I dropped in, and at the end of that month, I made friends with one of the coaches there, and he said, hey dude, I'm opening up my own gym. If you want to just come coach for me, we'll pay for your certification, and you can just work out here with me too. And I was like, great, where is it? It was down the block from my apartment.
Nice.
So it just worked out perfectly. That dude's one of my best friends. Bill. We grew with the team, the largest CrossFit gym in New York City. We grew up 6 locations in 5 years. And it was just an amazing time to be alive. I'm seeing recently all these like, go back to 2016. But that was the year that I went fitness full time. So it's like a really standout year for me.
Yeah.
However, as everybody knows, 2020 came around and the world changed a little bit. I think you were in California at the time. It's probably similar to New York. New York shut down and everything closed except for liquor stores and supermarkets.
Yeah.
Right. So what did I do? And, we did whatever we could online, but the gyms weren't, making money. So they furloughed me. And I decided in the next 2 weeks at that point to open up my own business and help people my way. Training the mind and the body will follow style, progress over time. Like, how can we make small, seemingly insignificant decisions while learning about fitness and nutrition and put ourselves in a position to do the best we can every single day? And this company, Hidden Summit, was born. And from end of 2019, when it was an idea, to 2020, when it became a reality, to 2024, we grew a company, my brother and I, and the coaches that followed, having 500 plus clients month over month. We grew it to a 7-figure business and built that thing until I actually hated my life because I thought this is what I wanted, and I did. And it was really amazing for the longest time. However, there's a lot of things I didn't know, and I was really rushing it all the while. And there were so many holes in the boat or screws loose on this train that was going full speed ahead. Like, we were building the plane while flying it. However, we were flying in circles a lot of the time, and I learned along the way that, yes, I want to help people, but the way that things happened, if I were to build another business like that again, I would do it differently. In 2024, end of 2024, I decided to burn it down. I let all my coaches take all their clients, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And decided to close down what was a very successful business to spend 2025 soul searching, finding myself, looking inward again, and allowing myself to say, hey, how am I going to figure this out? And I wrote a book. So I wrote that book last year. It's called Stay Fucking Fit. And yeah, it's a
catchy name.
Yeah, I still thought it would stand out a little bit. They didn't like it on the ads and then on the online stores, so maybe we'll release it again with a separate title. But you live and you learn. I sold a bunch of copies, and then afterwards I started coaching some clients again, keeping things really small. And at the end of last year, my fiancée and I got together and we're like, hey, do you want to do a business together? Because she's a financial advisor, she's worked in health and fitness, she's a neuro coach, she's a life coach. And then I do the same, entrepreneurship, systems, marketing, social media, fitness, nutrition. And we just said, we can definitely do something together and really change some lives. So what we decided to do is to help online entrepreneurs organize their life to then organize their business and have those two walk hand in hand in alignment. Because oftentimes I see what happened with me and what happened with Lacey, my fiance, that entrepreneurs will chase a dollar and they'll burn out, or they don't know who they are, or they do, when they post and share on social media, they just sound like everybody else. I can't stand that, because in all the conversations with all the people that I've helped, whether it be health wise or business wise along the way, there's a couple common factors that they're not aware of who it is that they are and where it is that they want to go. They're basing everything reactionary off of what has happened in their current circumstances. They don't know how to organize and arrange those thoughts into an action list. And then from that action list, they don't know how to implement what's priority. They're just doing everything that they can do and keeping up as fast and doing as much as they think they need to do, instead of doing what's necessary to move the needle forward first. And then from there, once they do have some success, they typically jump into something new, a bigger, badder goal, instead of nurturing that goal and allowing to plant that seed and water that plant and let it grow over time, to then look back and see what worked well and what didn't work well, to actually evaluate the situation, to finally pick a new direction to develop again. So I'm anti, let's rush this process of health, of wellness, of business. But I'm like, hey, what if it took a little longer, but you enjoyed the process every step of the way? And you learned about yourself and how to be your best self in these different challenges along the way. So what we're doing now in 2026 is we're growing this business, the Mental, Physical, Financial Collective, bringing entrepreneurs together, giving them their individualized, what we're calling their partner path, and taking them through what we call our alignment ethos, so they can be aware, lead themselves, integrate and implement these action items, grow, nurture that growth, and then evaluate and redirect and develop what we want. So that's I don't know how many minutes that was, but
no,
that's the short version.
Is that origin story? No, yeah. That is it.
That's how we got to Blaise's podcast.
It's funny. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there too. I didn't know that you played lacrosse either. I played as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I played.
Where did you grow up?
Primarily, I guess, in Maryland.
Okay, fair.
But I only did middle and high school there. But I played baseball up until I was like a sophomore in high school. And then my soccer coach at the time was like, dude, you're too athletic to play baseball. Come play lacrosse for me. And I switched over to lacrosse. Well, my sophomore season, I'm playing, and they're like, hey, you can get a ton of time on the JV team. It's your first year. Like, we'll be able to do that. The varsity team was really good. Well, in the preseason scrimmage, half the varsity team got in a full team brawl. So the coach was like, well, dude, you're like next one up. You got to come up and play. And oh, by the way, you're starting like your first season. You're starting attack in your first season. I'm like, what am I doing, dude? So I ended up playing, obviously getting better and better. And then I went to the Coast Guard Academy and got to play there too. So it was super fun to be able to continue playing in college for sure. I feel super fortunate too. But yeah, I didn't know that we had the common thread. I play down here too. I don't know if you.
Do you play now?
Yeah.
I don't know if my health insurance would cover.
I've been playing men's league. I played the whole time I was in California to Lake Tahoe and played that tournament. I played New Orleans, and then the men's league that plays here. They had like an Olympic 6-on-6 league that I just got out of, and they do like pickup on Sunday mornings and
very cool.
Yeah, super fun.
Oh, I have the stick. I'm gonna just pop over.
I know.
I rip a few.
We'll have to.
I have to. Still got it.
Yeah.
It's funny. Real quick. Side note: one U.S. Coast Guard Academy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of our clients inside of NPFC is this softball coach.
Oh, cool.
Coast Guard.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Have they been there a long time or no?
I think it is fairly new, a few seasons now.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's real big, like helping these girls, not just develop athletically, but like for life, and she's trying to build out something else outside of that for her as well. So it's cool to see like all this. We don't just help people who are working with businesses online, but they have physical jobs where they're or working a full-time job or trying to build something else. And
dude, welcome. Well, you know how that is, right? Like I will say there's some people that have probably done that where they've just like gone full bore, like cut it, and then like went into their own business thing, and it's worked out for them. But I'd say the vast majority of people are probably like 1 foot in over here, 1 foot in over here, or essentially just working two jobs to build the full brand.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that it's almost necessary. I had the grace of being able to do that when the world was slower. COVID was happening. So it's like, well, I was forced into this. And I wanted to do it for a long time, but that was the little push over the edge where whoever said universal energy, like, hey, now's your time to step up, put up, or shut up. And I was like, okay, here we go. Let's do this. No job, but got the runway in front of me.
Tear it up.
Let's build it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I feel like COVID was such an interesting time, even for us too, right? Like I'd been bouncing around through naval flight training. I'd finish and go to California, and then like it's like 2020 in the thick of like all these things going down. World shut down. My wife, we were just dating at the time, she's from New Jersey and she was living there still. And I moved up to California from Texas. So I'm there and we're apart, essentially living apart for about a year before she moved to California. But in that time, I was like, dude, I'm so bored. Like I live alone. My buddy ended up living with me for about 6 months, him and his now fiancée. But I was like, dude, I don't have much, like I'm going into work. It's fine. My hours were like 7:30 to 2 at the time at the air station. I'm like, dude, I like get home and like I started coaching lacrosse out there. We were doing traveling all over the West Coast. And then I was like, still feel like I have like too much time. I don't sit well. Like I'm somebody who's got to be like occupied or else I'm like annoying probably for the people around. So I like ended up walking in. Well, first I went to Orange Theory Fitness thinking like, oh, dude, I feel like maybe coach here. I like went in, I did a trial class, and I finished, and I had no certifications at the time. And I like asked the people there, and they're like, oh, what did you think? I was like, well, I thought it was okay. I was like, but I was interviewing you, and I like told them, and I was like, do you guys like hire people? Like, they're like, oh yeah, like who certified you? And I'm like, I don't have any. They're like, pass, dude. Like, good luck. You come back with a certification, we'll talk about it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. That turned me away from, I'll call like corporate health, at least in person group training. And I turned over to a mom and pop style gym that I ended up like knocking on the door, meeting the owner, who, shout out to the urban flex and flow community out there in California, this rad, redheaded, lesbian gym owner who is like one of my like favorite people I've ever met, mentors, and in the health space, and teaching me a ton, and took me in and basically like gave me the keys to her space the next day. And I'm like starting to coach there, like group fitness classes, TRX, all these other things. And it was totally on like a whim. I walked in there and asked her for a job, and she, was like, yeah, come on by.
Great.
So yeah, it's funny falling into that. And then I even fell into the online coaching space too, because I saw somebody that I had sailed with on a summer when I was up at the Coast Guard Academy, who like make a Facebook post, and they're like, hey, I'm looking for an online coach. Does anybody know anybody? Like, shoot me some recommendations. I'm sitting there and I like think about it for like 3 days, and I'm like, oh, man, I should just like send this girl a message, because I'm doing this in person. Like, it can't be that hard to do it online, right? And I have this whole thing. I reach out to her. I'm like, you want to pay me like $100 a month, and we'll just like figure it out? And she's like, yeah, let's do it. And then I went full bore, buying the LLC, doing the whole thing, like trying to build and grow. And I did some similar things to, it sounds like you did, where it's like, I had like really rapid success early in like figuring out like, oh man. And then I got to the point after like, it was probably like 8 months where I had to hire help. And
sure,
my wife ended up leaving her job. Like, I had 2 assistant coaches at the time, and I'm like trying to like figure out how I'm going to like manage all this stuff. And it's funny, like I think that it was probably a lot of function of like growing too big, too fast, too quickly. I manage people at work too. They call me an aeronautical engineer. It's not necessarily true. You're basically just a project manager for plane maintenance, and then I fly as well. And I'm like, oh, I manage like all these guys. Like, how much different can it be managing in your own business? And it is definitely different. And the added dynamic of trying to manage my wife and partner, which was super tough. So long story short, I end up going from that and having the aperture of all these people to then shrinking back down, and kind of just doing things like my way on my own more so, and finding what I'll call like our authenticity and the voice and the direction that we kind of wanted to go, which is like, hey, I have like this unique thought of like, hey, I fly planes in the Coast Guard. How many people do that in the world? Well, there's only been like 5,000 Coast Guard pilots ever. Military aviators, there's been a ton more, but I'm like, pilots in general are essentially overpaid truck drivers. Like, what do you do all day? You sit here in a seat and you fly for 8 hours at a time, and then you get out and you're on the road and you're eating shitty food, and your back hurts, and you're traveling through time zones, and then you're flying overseas and doing all this stuff. I'm like, these guys need like help and something to do. Essentially, when I went through my bit of soul searching the past year as well, I've kind of landed on like, hey, this is a demographic of people, and I love working with like former athletes as well, because I have a passion for that. But the real thing is like, oh, I'm finding like this group of people that I think could really, really use somebody to help guide them. Because Google how much a commercial pilot makes. Those guys are like starting off making $120 an hour, but they don't know what to do when they land in Kentucky, and then they have to, like, do you have a gym membership? Do you move at all? How do you eat? Or you just going to Burger King every single day? Right. All these things are totally like the reality. So yeah, that with my newfound, I guess, direction, I felt a lot more like aligned with like, hey, this is person who I want to talk to, showing, parts of my life that include that. And it's very odd because in my work dynamic, you end up being in a position where, like, I don't want people to think that my work in the Coast Guard comes second to my work in the business. So you end up treading this fine line of, like, how much you can, like, talk about it in a work setting, because if they're like, oh, this guy's just, trying to grab clients or do this stuff and build this, like, other business instead of focusing on this other piece of work, which it isn't that way. I just work that job and then come here and then do this, and it's part of who I am. So it's very interesting how I feel like everybody, if anybody acts like they have everything figured out, they're probably full of shit, right? Like, I can openly admit I do not have everything or anything probably figured out, for that matter. It's like every year I just know less and less. But it's nice to know, like, hey, I think this is the direction I want to go, and I'm kind of following the breadcrumbs of, like, this is the path that you should be on from, whatever has happened the last number of years since I started doing the damn thing. So
yeah, and I think everything is, like you just said, you say follow the breadcrumbs, and I take it as, what are the opportunities that were presented, right? I mean, last year was one of the more challenging years, going from the year before at our peak, having seven-figure business top line, then margins were bad because we grew so big. So, like, I wasn't being paid as much as I was when we were making half that. And then stressing out about the people that were in the business, coming in as clients, and then people leaving the business because of how they went about it. So, like, the hires that I made, which made me choose to shut it down. And being that I feel like I'm a good person, I gave everybody 60 days instead of 0 days. I was like, you have 60 days where I'll still pay you. And then you figure out how you want to take your clients so they can pay you. But after those 60 days, I'm not going to pay you anymore. So I'm, like, burning money, but for good reasons, because I care about my people. And then with that, tried to jump into a couple different things right away, and none of it felt right. I'm glad that I didn't, because I really love where I am now. From the end of 2024 to throughout 2025, it was one of those years where you just said it. I was like, I don't know anything, but I'm glad that I've learned what I have leading to this moment, so I can have this wiser head on my shoulders to not rush into anything, and I can continue to chip away with what's presented to me along the way. Meaning that I don't know how I got through 2025. Every time, I mean, I had savings and everything, but I'm not an idiot with my money.
yeah.
Like, it was nothing was guaranteed, but every time we needed to make a payment or something popped up, there was car trouble, or we had a trip that we were asked to go on because a family thing happened, we were able to figure it out. And I think that moments throughout last year leading to today have given me this opportunity to live this life with abundance, and go in and take every opportunity to have more conversations and get to know other people who are on a similar journey of their own. Because the more that we can do that, the more we can give. Like, I truly believe that the world's going to send it right back my way, whether it be through people or payment or anything in between. I do think that everything will work out, because I do know one thing: I'm not that lazy 20-year-old who didn't go to class and just wanted to drink beers and hang out with his buddies in a rock band. Like, I show up and I kick ass every day. And that happens. And some days it's a casual kind of, like, chill vibe, and other days it's like, hey, big boy pants on because we're getting shit done today. Type of situation. But I think that's, I'll be 39 on Tuesday. And, I look back, like I said earlier, the 2016 trend, like, 29 years old, I thought I knew everything. And now I'm like, I don't know everything, but I'm looking forward to learning as much as I can, for as long as I can. And I think that's part of why, I believe everything's going to work out. And we're going to create this incredible business and community, and we're going to help a ton of different people. And I'm going to go about it my way instead of trying to fit in with what the trends are and what the gurus say. I don't know if you saw this when I posted it the other day. Like I have a mission which starts on Monday with our social media challenge. So if you want to join the social media challenge and start posting for 30 days in a row, let's go. Calling you out right now.
Oh, there you go. I can't not do it now.
No, that's right. I'm going to help 365 online business, 365 entrepreneurs of businesses in the next 365 days. Just on me for free, no strings attached, because I believe like the way to go help people is to plant seeds, and the way to be, help ourselves and grow our business is to like put up or shut up, like lead by example. And there's the same thing with fitness. Why did you get fitness clients? Because you lived the life and you're still living it. People are like, I want that. Why did I get fitness clients? Like probably because, oh, Cavan, like how do you look the way you look, and you only train 4 to 5 days a week for an hour at a time? Well, because I put in the time. And I'm putting the right intention, and I get people results because what they think they need to do is not what they need to do. And it's the same thing with business and entrepreneurship. It's just that we need to lead by example, and that if we share that, more people are going to find us. It's going to happen. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
So, see you in social media.
I'm in, man. I'm in. The other thing I want to talk about too that you kind of mentioned earlier that I feel like you're kind of hinting at as well is this like inside out change. Like you're talking about like, hey, we try to lead from this inside out mindset of this, hey, this, when you start to ask these more difficult questions, when you start to figure out truly what makes you aligned with where you want to go, how that permeates to other facets of your life, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your business, whether it's your body, whether it's your all these other things. Mm-hmm. Like, tell me more about that. Tell me why, because it seems like you've been doing things that were out of alignment, still made you pretty successful. You're running a 7-figure business with 500 plus clients. Like that's, some people would be like, dude, you made it to the top. But still being out of alignment. And then now you're in this mode, where you feel, I'm sure like you're doing what you're almost like, what's the Japanese proverb of like ikigai? Have you heard of this?
I think so.
So it's like, it's essentially finding something that you can get paid to do, that you're passionate about, that the world needs. There's maybe one more facet of it, but it's essentially like where all those things connect and you're able to like really bring this together. And then you can do that for forever because it almost doesn't necessarily feel like work. Like you enjoy it. Like it's something that you're called to do. You feel that you can give more in that way. And thankfully you're compensated for that in energy and money and people and all those other things too. So tell me about the inside out kind of shift.
Yeah, I love that. And just to, to put it out there, like I loved what I did with Hidden Summit and that business for the longest time until I did it.
Yeah.
And it was because I was just wanting to grow. I wanted 100 coaches. I wanted to help thousands of people. Like I mean, that's what everybody says. We can make $1 million in a month. Why not? It's out there. People are doing it, right? When we hit $1 million, it wasn't enough for the business. We had to do more.
Like insatiability almost.
Yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong with wanting more. It's like if people want to, I know people personally who make $1 million a month in business.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I don't want the responsibility that comes with it. Like I've done the math. I know exactly how much I want to make to live the lifestyle that I want to make. And then when I get there, and if I want to actually grow and do something more, like we can reevaluate at that time.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
So to the inside out is, so look, let's talk about it through the lens of business coaching. Most business coaches are going to say, hey, like I'm going to help you get to X amount of $1,000 per month, X amount of $1,000 per year or more.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to help you with your marketing. I'm going to help you with your messaging. I'm going to help you with your systems. I'm going to help you with your funnels. I'm going to help you with your lead generation. But no one says I'm going to help you, period. I help people with who they are first because they don't know what they want with their life. I asked every single person that came in with our founding partners, what is it that you want your business to look like? And they said, well, I want to make this much money. Cool. Like, what does that look? What does your day-to-day look like when you're making? Silence. They had no idea.
Yeah.
They don't know what that looks like. And since I've been through it, and I understand what it looks like. I was like, let me explain to you what this will look like.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I don't know if I want that.
Yeah, I don't want that. Yeah.
Like, do you want to be glued to your computer screen for 16 hours a day?
Yeah.
Do you want to pay people out more than you are actually making for a long time until you can figure out how to profit? Right? Do you want people to, like, well, the list goes on.
Yeah.
Right? There's a ton of different examples. So, like, what we begin everybody with is what we call our aligned quiz, just to see how they think, how they act or react to different questions based off of, what has happened in their past, their current circumstances, what is happening in their future, what are their desires, what is their relationship with money, with their business, personal life, their health. And then through that, they'll typically get placed and they'll get a score for mental, physical, and financial health separately. And then we'll accrue those together, do some math, and then whatever the score is the highest, that's what phase that we get. I mean, like, okay, like you need to work on your awareness. I mean, we have to do some more internal work, neural work, meditation, understanding, journaling, writing down, visualization of who it is that you want to become and why before we put anything to a plan. Because if we start to just form a plan and not know who we are, we might get down halfway through and go, oh, I don't want this anymore. Like, what would I do? Right? Or if they're in the lead yourself phase, which is the organizational phase, like that means they have an understanding of who they are and where they want to be. But they're trying to do everything, this laundry list of things, this to-do list that is never ending every single day on all different aspects of their life, their business, and their health, their family, their relationships. It goes on and on and on and on. What do you want to do the next 90 days? Like, where do you want to be in your mental life, physical life, financial life the next 90 days? Let's pick a goal for each of those. That's the only thing you're going to work on. We'll give each goal a set of tasks to help you daily, weekly, monthly, so you can see progress over time. And then when we get to the 90-day marker, we will look back and evaluate to see what's working. So after the lead yourself phase is the implementation, integration, ALI. So that's why I think, like, if I can help you understand who you are, then you can decide where you want to take your business. And then if you understand who you are while you're developing your business, those two will be able to stay on the same path longer versus, like you said, putting the cart before the horse.
For sure.
So that's why we believe, and I don't know anybody else who's doing this. So it's very difficult to talk about because there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But the way I would phrase it is like, hey, like I want to help. Yes, I want to help you be aligned with you and your business to be aligned. Am I an alignment coach? Am I a life coach? Am I a business coach?
Yeah, squishy, right? It's not like a term,
So, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I understand that if you're building this business and you're not interacting with the people the way that you think that you deserve to be interacted with, then that's a messaging problem. Well, why is there a messaging problem? We have to probably not work on our social media skills as much, but we need to pull back the layers of what's really holding you back from saying what you want to say and what are you dealing with on the inside to be able to share that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I built a whole entire GPT on this. And when I give people the GPT, they're like, this is scary, Cavan. Like, how does your robot know more about me than I can say about me? And then I'm like, well, isn't this making sense now? And they're like, yeah, this makes social media so much easier for me because I can actually just be myself instead of following what all the trends of the gurus.
Yeah.
Right. Or, if people, or is it a physical problem? Are we not taking care of our health and we're avoiding that? Because let's be honest, not everybody works in health and fitness and is a really, upstanding person when it comes to their health.
For sure.
But they're probably successful in their business, but they feel like crap every time they go home and they have to be with their wife and their kids because they're so exhausted.
Yeah. Or they're scared to take their shirt off at the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I help people with fitness and nutrition. I created a macro strategist GPT and I write a workout program still every month. So if these entrepreneurs, business owners want to come in, they have something to take, if they need it, have something to take care of their health, physical health as well, their mental health as well, and their financial health as well. So we do help people with systems and marketing and data tracking and email copy and all of that. But it starts with being aware, integration, leading yourself with integration.
Yeah.
A lot to it.
And the alignment too, I feel like is so challenging, right? Because that is the thing. Like everybody feels like they're unique in some way, shape, or form, and you probably are. But that feeling, I don't think, is unique in any way. Like everybody's like, oh yeah, like I talked to a health coach, and someone's like, oh, I do mobility training or calisthenics or whatever, and they're like, oh, why do you do it so differently? And it's like, yeah, these other 150 dudes do the same thing, or these other 5,000 people do the same thing, and you start to I'll tell you, I actually talked about this with a buddy of mine who was on the podcast a couple of days ago, and he basically is like, I have such a hard, or he was having a hard time drowning out noise, like exterior noise, and I found myself doing the same thing. So I decided, like the end of last year, I'd failed the 75 hard challenge like 4 or 5 times before, and I'm sure you're familiar with what it is.
Mm-hmm. I did the Live Hard program.
Yeah,
the 365 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, man, I want to do the 75 hard thing. Every time I failed, it was for a stupid, like, oh, I didn't take a progress photo. And I'm like frustrated in the fact that I let that go. So I was like, oh, I'm going to finish it. So, but on day one, I decided not only am I going to finish it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend 75 days off of social media the entire time so that I can kind of start to find that voice again, start to have that realization of like, everybody else, you hear all this stuff, and the only way that I could truly figure out what I wanted is when I turned all the noise off. And sure. I figured out like, hey, what does Blaise want to say? What does Blaise think of when I'm waking up in the morning? And you're not always going to have some profound thought, right? But like, I was able to take that time away and not have any, I'll call like outside, interaction with other people, which people are like, oh, dude, you run an online coaching business. Like, how did that go? And I'm like, well, to be honest, nothing really changed. Like I like talking to people face to face. I don't mind telling them about the stuff that I'm doing and the way that I could help, and, trying to identify a way. And even if it's not, hey, you're going to come work with me as a coach, it's, hey, what are you struggling with? Are you struggling with your sleep or your stress or your nutrition, or like, hey, you're like getting up off the couch and your back hurts and whatever. It's like, hey, well, we have a ton of tools for all these things. Just start being like, hey, if you're interested, we've got this X, Y, Z. And what I was able to do is I was able to lean into that personal connection piece that I feel like sometimes is lost in the online space because of the noise, right? Like, God damn, the amount of times, and you probably see it too.
It's so bad.
Dude, the fact I get enough messages from people that are like a canned, like whatever the thing is, they go on, they follow you and they like 4 things, and then they like send you like this canned thing about how they can help your SEO optimization or your
pull this up.
Dude, I'm
20 of them.
I'm telling you, it's absurd, and I don't want any of that. Like I don't want any of those things. Like until somebody is able to sit down and have a conversation with you, until they're able to like connect, and that personal connection piece I feel like is just so key. Like why? Like we don't need to talk. We don't. I have a friend who actually his dad he met this guy and he's like, I got enough friends, man. I got enough friends. It's pretty funny how that's how he would draw his line, meeting people in person. But I'm like, man, the energy thing is so true, and finding the way to bring the energy and the people. And I feel like at the end of the day, if you're just doing those things, the relationships and the people that you're in the room with end up just kind of falling in your lap that way organically, right?
Yeah, I mean, what's today? Friday. This week, Monday, I had a call with somebody who booked it, Saturday or Sunday. He just hit me up. He messaged help. I put a post up. I was like, what do you need help with, dude? Talk to me. What's going on? And then he was like, look, I've been struggling with my health and fitness. I know you don't do a lot of that anymore, but I've been following you for a while. And I was like, well, get on a call, talk about it. I was like, I don't know if it's something that I want to do right now. I was like, look, you're going to fill out this form. I'm going to make you a plan. You can have the plan regardless of whether you decide to work with me or not. But I will ask you after I present to you what I believe is going to be most beneficial for you and your goals over the next 90 days if you want to work with me or not. And then we get through the call, it's typically like a 30, 45-minute call. We're going to call for an hour. And I was like, so what do you want to do? Do you want to take this and run with it, or do you want me to help and hold you accountable? Because it sounds like accountability is what you need. He had been 315, he dropped down to 180, he went back up to 250, dropped back down to 225.
Holy shit.
So he's been all over the place.
Dude.
But after he was telling me, he's fallen into bad habits. He's done a little bit of retatrutide or tirzepatide. I'm not against those things, but if you don't have proper habits to back those up, if you're not eating enough protein, if you're not eating enough food, if you're not training regularly, you're just putting a Band-Aid on a bullet. So I was like, so what's really holding you back right now? Like 100% yes. And he was like, I signed up for online coaching once and it was an awful experience. The guy charged me like thousands of dollars and it was just cookie cutter. And I don't even know if I was actually talking to him after I signed up. And I was like, I'm going to text you from my iPhone right now. You have access to me from, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We'll meet every single week for a touch base, whether we just want to shoot the shit and catch up and have some bro talk or you got something you want to work on. And then I'm going to be here regardless. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah, that's just how I roll, man. Like relationships. I'm not going to put you in some cookie cutter program. I'm not going to send you some crazy email sequence. Like you have everything that you need right here. And you're telling me like all of this is manageable. So if something isn't manageable, like you need to come to me. He's like, I'm not really good at telling people I need help. And I was like, if you were sick, would you not tell your doctor you needed help? If your car broke down, would you not go to your mechanic?
How old is this guy?
31, 32.
I'm adamant and convinced that men in particular are the worst at this. That from the ages of like 20 to like 40, that everyone just wants to just put their boots to the grindstone and just fucking be like grind it out and figure it out and just suffer. Like they will just ignore a problem and not ask somebody an olive branch. And and the whole like maybe it's ego, maybe it's pride, maybe it's the environment that we grew up where it's like your dad just fucking did X, Y, or Z and then like was like just be a man and figure it out or whatever the case may be. And maybe there's some of that for people, but man, dude, it's so funny how everybody's the same in that way.
So long story short, it's Friday now. He's messaged me every day with questions. I messaged him, start sometimes, just be like checking in, what's going on. He's been responsive. He sent me like a first chapter of a book today. I'm like, I'm cool with that. Like, this is really good stuff because it went from I need help, but I don't know if I want to invest in this, not saying why, to actually admitting he knows what the problem is, to saying he needed help, to saying why he didn't join, but because of a previous experience, to us now creating this relationship and we're going to see results.
Yeah.
Right. So now we get to break down and go into the why of like your relationship with the scale. Like, I know you don't want to put weight on anymore, eating more food throughout the course of the day. And how that's not going to now we can get into the coaching side of things.
Yeah.
Like I didn't coach him at all when we did the consultation. I was just like, this is how it works, period. You came to me. So if you want to work together, this is how I operate. And I think, I can't remember how we got here at this point now, but it's important. Relationships. That is going to be the future. I think like if we, and I know this isn't you, if people continue to like have shadow coaches and not actually coach their people and send cookie cutter templates, like, can it work? Yeah. But like, are you going to hurt more people in the long run because they actually don't know how to think through the process themselves? Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's tough, man. I see it a lot. I've been a part of coaching groups before in the past where you end up seeing somebody and you're like, dude, I feel like this guy's just full of shit, And it's interesting too, because people end up having those people typically will have like an online persona and then like an in-person persona.
Well, there are people who coach on that. There are people, business coaches, gurus, right, who charge $15,000, $20,000 for the program, who teach people to do that, which I absolutely cannot stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because not everybody needs to be this bold-faced, big character to connect with the people they're trying to connect with.
Yeah.
They just think they have to because they see other people do it. And now you're paying someone to tell you to do this. I've had people that were in that program who spent $15,000 and lost money on the year.
Yeah.
And then they come to my program, which I know I undercharge for. And they're like, I've learned more in like the first 8 weeks in this program than I had in the previous 12 months.
Well, yeah, because you're teaching people about themselves, not about
right.
You're not implementing a system that you created or crafted for yourself and putting it on somebody else.
That's not to toot my own horn. It's just because all I'm saying is what you just said. Reiterate. I care about you as a person, not that you follow the system that works for me.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, right? You're not the exact same person that they are. Like at the end of the day,
that's the other
they've got a different life experience. They've got different goals and ambitions. Maybe they do want to be glued to their computer for 16 hours a day. I sure as fuck don't.
But maybe somebody does. There's an outlier out there who doesn't mind it. An introverted online coach is really good at what they do.
Yeah.
By all means.
It's like, I feel like it's so important too. And maybe you end up talking to people about this as well. Like, start with the end in mind. When you're able to figure out what does my end day to day look like? What does my life look like when I'm 50? Or I like to say when I'm 80. That's my new thing. Is I've decided all my life, health and wellness related. I'll say like physical, body, financial, all those things. I want to be able to dance at my 80th birthday party. It's like that. That's where I'd like landed. And what does that mean? Well, one, I need to be alive when I'm 80. Two, I need to be able, like, mobile and be able to move when I'm 80. And three, I need to have enough friends, family, and people around that's a fun event. And that's like, dude, like what in my life, like that is the thing that matters. And I'm not a financially or money driven person. Unfortunately, I feel like there's times where I have been like, oh yeah, this is motivating. But I think I've like fallen away and just really trying to figure out like, this is where I want to be. This is where I am now. And how do I get there? And it'd be super cool to also make the 8-year-old version of me like hella proud, right? Yeah. Like, yeah, you're going after it. You're doing the thing that you want to do. You're, you're working hard. You're showing up as best as you can every single day, and you just know you're not dogging it, right? Like everybody knows your own like internal governor. Some days you're at 50% or whatever, but if you're at 80% and you give 10% when you could have given 80, like you're leaving shit on the table. You're leaving opportunity. You're leaving, whether it's revenue or energy or whatever those things out there.
Totally. No, I agree with you. And that's something I teach anybody in business or fitness is you're not going to be 100% every day. But like, where are you? Honest with yourself. That's what I expect you to do.
Yeah.
Like, I get it too. I mean, have you ever done or looked into your human design? I want you to do it. What it is, it's similar to astrology, but everybody's makeup is different. And there's different types. There's 5 different types. There's manifestors, generators, reflectors, and projectors. And they have different traits and they pull their energy from different areas, but everyone is a little bit different with what their gifts are. So while it might sound a little woo-woo, it is actually scary accurate when you dig into it.
You end up doing like a quiz and then stops it out for you?
It's all based on where you were born, what time you were born, and the city you were born. That's it. So like straight up astrological.
Interesting.
So my type is a projector, and projectors don't pull energy. We don't have the ability to create energy. Like I pull out all of my energy from the things that are going on around me. So like right now, then this is from learning about this, is like I'm pulling off of your energy and I can give it just as I receive it. But afterwards, like you, depending on your type, may be able to bounce right back into the next thing or do whatever you have to do. When I'm done with this interaction, like I'm going to need to like lay down or like sit in silence for like 10 minutes so I can recharge and reset and kind of assess what the next thing is I'm going to do. So like I work better in these like spurts of energy and I can give it really well, but I also need to rest and recover. So like that's just one aspect of it. And the other side of that is for me specifically, I find that I do well when I'm invited into things. And I typically work best with like an instinctual authority, meaning like if I don't feel like this is something that's going to benefit me or I'm not 100% in or I don't have a good vibe from it, like I'll have this slight like gut feeling where it's like, hey, don't do this. And sometimes I like want to do it, but like I have to learn to listen to my gut because there are some times, maybe you've been here before too, where you get invited to something and you do it and you're kind of like, oh, this is draining. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And like if you feel worse and you get stressed, so it affects the rest of your day.
For sure.
So like when you asked me, like, remember, I wasn't like, hell yeah, right away. I was like, let's look at our schedule. Let's make sure that this works out. Like I'm away for 2 weeks. Let's not rush into it. And then we finally picked a day where I was like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Right. So like at that, I've been better at those sort of things. But when it comes down to like who you are and how you report, I feel like knowing who you are, there's a lot of different tests and things that we can look into. So whether it be human design or the Galpin test is another one that I really enjoy, or how you were raised and nurtured growing up, the Enneagram. Another one, I don't know if you've ever heard of that before.
I'm not, no.
But these social scientific tests are really powerful. Just tools to look at who you are. A lot of them are scary accurate, especially those three that I've taken and I lean on. We make all of our partners take them too, so we can not just have them know themselves better, but know how to communicate with them better.
Right.
How do you receive information? How are you going to say things to us, and how do you want to send information? Like, everybody's different, and maybe we're going too far above and beyond to learn that about people, but I think that's what we need to do for them to find the most success that they can.
Yeah, like we had to do in a lot of our schooling, we had a leadership and it was like a leadership class essentially, and they made us take the Myers-Briggs test.
Okay,
sure
yeah, similar
like that. Yeah, where they're essentially putting you in the box. I forget all of them, but it's like introvert, extroverted, thinking and perceiving. I feel like there's an intuition and judgment. There may be one more that I'm missing, but essentially like trying to figure out like how you work, and then it'll give you like a, hey, this is the type of person that you are. And then when you start to identify and understand like, hey, maybe this person is more introverted, introspective, maybe they have to be invited to give an idea that they have, but they're the smartest person in the room or whatever. It helps you kind of diagnose and figure out how to best, utilize, I'm a hammer, or I'm a nail, or a Phillips head screwdriver, but like if you're doing a different job, like maybe I'm not the most effective tool for that job.
Sure.
So it's interesting to see and understand, and then have that personal awareness when, my wife's a little bit more introverted than me. I know there's some days where like I would want to go and play sports with my friends, and she's like, hey dude, I'm just going to like hang out here. And I'm like, you're just going to do what? She's like, I'm just going to like sit and read. And I'm like, well, that's fucking weird. Like, but I like, in understanding like more about her or more about the other person, you're able to kind of figure out like, hey, this is how that person is recharging, or this is how they're getting back to whatever, or this is what they need. And then you're able to kind of navigate like, what are your next step forward, which is so interesting, like with the amount of diversity that exists and upbringing and nature versus nurture and all that stuff to get you to that point, which again, like I want the best coaches that I've ever interacted with are the people with the highest amount of emotional intelligence.
Yep.
All those people, they just find a way to connect and find ways like understanding cues and body language and storytelling and all those things to figure out how to help somebody get from point A to point B, right?
Yeah, it's super important. I think, adults are, a lot of people are not, I know it's not even younger adults, it's all adults are not emotional. They do not have a high EQ. So with that, a lot of those people are looking for help too. So break down barriers and help them see what it is that we see, that that's even more powerful transformation than weight loss, let's say, right? Or business transformation. Understand who I am, like why I'm doing what I'm. What's more powerful than that? Now you don't need me anymore.
Dude, there's nothing better than that. I like. There's nothing that would make me happier than to have somebody come in on day one and then leave on, call it day 365 or day 180 or whatever your pitch becomes.
Sure.
And just realize like I am like in charge of everything in my life, and I can make it like whatever I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to choose and I get to decide. And I also have the power to like set this thing over here, and it doesn't have to be some crazy audacious goal. Sometimes those are helpful, but it's like, yep, I can get better sleep, I can eat better, or I can,
I can say no,
yeah. Fucking A, that stuff is so hard, the intangible. I've been privy to that before. Like the other day I had a 16 and a half hour workday, and all of it was because like I did a poor job of setting a boundary when I was there. These things sometimes happen, situations occur, whatever that ends up happening. After I finished that, I was like, man, I don't want that to happen again. How am I going to prevent that from happening again? And it's like, well, I can go in and I can set the tone and be like, hey, like this happened, and it's okay that I did. I'm not like upset, but like now I need to make sure everybody's on the same page. Like this is not the norm. Like I have a life, I have a family, I have, things that I want to do and accomplish, and that is too much energy that I'm giving away to something.
Sure.
Yeah. So
well, I'm really curious. Do you know where you were born and the time you were born?
Oh, I don't know the time. I believe it was in the morning at some point. But I was born in San Pedro, California, which is like a suburb of LA. And I believe it was morning time.
Spell your last name for me, please.
Is Curtis, Curtis.
Really curious. Yeah. So, what year were you born?
Dude, 1995, man. I am the dirty 30.
There you go.
Turning 31 here.
95. What month?
May the 1st is the birthday.
Right. What time?
I would say, I think it was in around 7 in the morning. We'll go with something like that.
7 on the dot.
Let's do I think it was 7 and change. Call it 7:06. My parents will end up listening to this at one point, and they'll be like, dude, that's wrong. We could actually probably ask them.
Live?
Yeah, we could do a live. Let me see. Let's see if my mom answers. We'll put her on speaker, but I gotta tell her that she's gonna be on here, or else she'll be really upset.
San Pedro Hill, California.
We're gonna get the right answer here. It'd be really interesting if she'd answer. Hello. Hey, so I'm recording a podcast right now. So you are live on the podcast recording. It's okay. I want to figure out a question. Cavan is here, and he's asked me a couple details about the time I was born and the official place. So I wanted to call and phone a friend because I don't actually know the answers to those questions, and I figured you were the great person to call.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
You were born just before 7 o'clock, 6:55.
Oh, I was close. I thought it was in the morning.
PM.
Oh, PM.
Oh, okay.
Oh, never mind.
No, you made me suffer through the whole day.
Would you rather suffer through the whole day or the whole night, though? You know.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. What was the name of that hospital?
Just the city.
It's in San Pedro, right? Or San Pedro?
Pedro, they say in LA.
Yeah. Can't be somebody who's not a local saying it wrong.
Pedro.
Pedro, yeah.
You got it.
That's the only one.
This is coming up as San Pedro Hill. Is that a place there, too? Maybe not.
It's a city.
Yes. We're trying to figure it out. Clearly it's working well.
So it's just Los Angeles.
Yeah. Just do LA. Yeah, I know, but it's an LA suburb. I think that's a little bit more broad on that question. All right, well, I think that worked out. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, all right, love you. Yeah, bye. I knew she would be like, whoa.
Yeah, she was into it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it would have thrown it all off if we didn't phone a friend. I'm telling you, we'd have thrown it off.
Screenshot this. Oh, wow. So this is really cool. All right. So, Blaise, my friend, you're a projector, like myself.
Oh wow!
Like you said earlier on, I could do work at birth.
Yeah.
Your profile is a 4-6, and I'm going to dive into that more in a second. So it means you're opportunistic and you live the life of a role model. So the opportunistic is how your relationship with yourself, meaning what you're going to do to seize the day and make things happen. And the role model is how your interaction with the outside world, so how people look to you and you look to other people as well. Towards role models, and they look at you as what you're doing. So pretty neat there. Some cool channels that I can lean into, which I'm not as familiar with. But this could be a little overwhelming to look at, right? So this is your energy chart.
Very interesting.
So,
I feel like I should take this and screenshot that and then we put it up.
I did this. I'm going to save it.
Yeah, nice. And then what I'll do too, for anybody who's interested, who's listening to this, we'll leave the link on the bottom, and then they can, in the show notes, and they can check out like what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So like you go from the top, and these little areas, right? Look at them as cities, and then the lines are like the roads that connect the cities. So it's like how your energy works together. So like your head, or your throat, your head, your mouth, your throat, and your heart, you are all filled. So you know who you are in those areas, and then the empty ones on the bottom, from what we're grounded with, to our gut, our spleen, or our sacral, or emotional, it's empty. So that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but you pull that energy from other people, and like you use those areas when interacting with other people, versus like you are very aware of in these other areas. So very, very loose description, as I kind of know most about like the high level stuff with the human design, but you can go down major rabbit holes with all of this. So I'm going to actually look into yours more and get back to you afterwards with a little bit more data, and you're going to let me know how accurate it is.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. It's funny. I think in figuring this out, and I think my wife and I kind of came to this conclusion relatively recently. We talked about like, my love language is another thing that I think is incredibly interesting, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
And I mine is essentially like quality time is like the only thing that I think truly like I care. Like when people get me gifts, I'm like uncomfortable. Like there's other things I'm sure that come from that, but like the quality time is just so critical and important to me. And we've talked about it at length, where she's like, she gets a lot of energy from me as a partner. And I get a lot of energy from almost anybody with quality time. It's like very, very interesting. She's like, hey, you like think, she's like, I need you in these other ways to do these things, but you could almost need like anybody, which is like really bizarre.
And it could be like a one-to-one or one-to-many type of situation. Like,
yeah.
When Lacey and I first started dating, we made each other kindly discuss like what are the pillars of our relationship. We were like, we're going to take these love language tests and gifts. And,
it's important, man. I feel like knowing your partner and knowing what kind of makes them tick is just super key. Yeah.
So I'm going to read through this.
Oh, hit me.
Let me know. Okay. So your core type, self-projected projector. This is rare. What this actually means is that you're not here to grind, initiate, or outwork other people. Your power is in direction, clarity, and articulation. You're designed to hear yourself talk, to know what's correct. Your truth does not come from gut response or emotions, and it comes from your voice and your identity. If you don't say it out loud, you can't trust it yet. Talking is not processing for you. Talking is decision making. You're the guy with the podcast. Yeah. Voice notes called live teaching workshops equal alignment. Silent planning is distortion. You get in your head sometimes when you're just kind of like,
for sure, dude. I just got to do stuff. I'm a ready, fire, aim kind of guy. Yeah.
Got it. Strategy. Wait for the invitation, but not passively. This does not mean sitting around, being invisible, waiting to be chosen. It means putting your perspective where you recognize, letting people see how you think. Invitations come from recognition, clarity, not effort. Correct invitations look like, can you help me see this differently? Can you help me explain how you think about this? I want your take on this topic. If you have to convince, chase, or over-explain, it's misaligned. Not meant for you. So you're self-projected authority. This is huge for you as you as a creator and leader. You're not meant to ask, does this feel like me? Say it. Not, will this convert? Will this scale? Will people like it? If it sounds like you, it works. If it doesn't, it drains you. It drains you even if you're performing. Business translation for you. You don't build funnels first. You don't optimize first. You clarify your voice first, and then you go into it. So the opportunistic role model. This is the profile. So line 4, the opportunist. Opportunities come through relationships. Your network is your leverage. Cold outreach, mass marketing, yelling, avoid, it's exhausting. You grow through trust, familiarity, and repeated exposure. You just said that earlier.
Yeah, dude, that stuff sucks. Cold DMs is not my vibe.
And the role model. You go through 3 life phases: trial and error, early life, pulling back and observing, stepping forward as a grounded example. People don't follow you because you're flashy. They follow you because you're embodied. Translation in this is, you don't sell what you do, you sell how you live. I think we just did an entire podcast on living by example. Yeah. Define centers. These are the important ones. So define G center, identity and direction. You have a stable sense of self. People feel oriented around you. You naturally give direction without trying. This is why people ask, what do you do? How do you think about this? Define growth. Your voice carries authority when aligned. You influence by naming things simply. Open, undefined centers where you're not meant to push. You're not designed for consistent energy output, hustle, long, rigid execution schedules. When you try to operate like a generator, you overcommit, you lose clarity, you feel resentment and bitterness. Your energy is bursty and directional, not constant. The big pattern I see here: you are here to see what others miss, name it clearly, offer direction when invited, model a way of being, not push a system. Your highest leverage work is teaching, advising, auditing, reframing, clarifying. Your worst use of energy is administration, constant content churn, being on every day, improving yourself. I think this goes on and on and on.
Yeah, dude. I would, if I had an administrative job that was the only thing that I did all the time, I would probably throw myself off the skylight. That would be, yeah. I could not. Yeah, it's interesting. It's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty accurate for a quick GPT kind of plug in on the data set. But yeah, it's, I would say that sounds like you in the limited amount of times that we've spoken. You're very easy to be around. You're a really good conversationalist. You do host a podcast, and everything we spoke about today. It's just like, hey, I'm not here to cold DM people and start these BS conversations. I'm here for real connection, real people, and real guidance. I think the world needs a little bit more of that. So.
Yeah, dude. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks again for popping on and doing that. That's interesting. I'll leave that again at the bottom of the show so people can tag in. Obviously, they don't have your GPT in there, but they
that was just the regular GPT. So for sure, I think people get a kick out of it. It's nice to know and reflect. And I would say, if you don't agree, just say that in the comments too. Let's have a conversation about it. I'm not against it.
And you know what? If you need to figure out where you were born and what time, you can always call them.
Yeah, call them. That's what I do. You told me this. Let's one make sure.
Yeah. It's close enough. Well, cool, man. Yeah, no, thank you again for popping over. I don't want to keep it too much longer because we could be here all day long.
Yeah, I'm super close. Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, man, for sure. For anybody who's looking for Cavan stuff, I'm going to leave all of his things in the show notes. Who knows? I may end up working with him at some point myself because I, again, like the message that you preach. I think alignment is super important. And I know that based on the circle of guys and people that you got around you, that you got a good head on your shoulders. You're not out here to just pump money out and rob people of time, effort, and energy. So I'm excited to see where this business takes you. And if I ever get asked about, hey, you know any coaches that are in the business world and have this thing that I think will kind of fit with a health component, business and finance component, and an alignment component, I'll be sure to send your way.
I appreciate it. We always say it's mind, body, and bank.
Yeah, so, there you go.
We got to do the big three.
Cool, man.
Yeah, but appreciate it. We're going to get you in a social media challenge regardless, get you moving and grooving, get you used to what we got going on. And I just think us connecting more and chatting more on the business side of things, life side of things, getting a couple more workouts together is just going to be this just a start. So yeah, really pumped about it.
Sweet, man.
Thanks for having me on, dude.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.
Sweet.
All right, guys. That's all we got. Remember, you don't stop playing as you get old. You get old as you stop playing. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Later.